we must talk about all of my auntie's favorite movies and mine. A little number called How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
Yes, that put me on. That one put me on.
How did you find out about that particular role?
That's a funny story.
All right.
I was doing Rent in the evenings, and then I just booked a soap opera in the daytime, Guiding Light.
I remember Guiding Light.
Do you?
Is it still on?
I don't think so, but it was. If it's off, it was one of the. It started out as a radio show, one of the first radio show soap operas, and I think it's one of the most one of the longest running. I thought I was a shit because I was like, I'm a soap opera actor by day, and I'm a Broadway star by night.
Killing it.
I thought I was.
You were.
It was fun. It was fun. My character was a record producer, so I was doing those two gigs, and then I got a call to audition for this character, and at the time, I was just trying to get in front of casting directors because the character for How Stella Got Her Groove Back was described as tall, dark, with dreads. So I didn't think I was going to get the part. I just wanted to get in front of these movie people and make some kind of an impression. So it was great in that I didn't have any pressure. I didn't put any pressure on myself, and it wasn't something that I thought I was going to end up getting. So a lot of times in those circumstances, you go in very free, and a lot of times you do your best work. Gwen was in Rent. She was from the islands, so she gave me a couple of tips on a Jamaican accent.
What tips did she give you?
I don't know, but it worked. The little shit she told me worked. So I got called back. I was living in New York, and the callbacks were in LA. So they flew me and my then girlfriend, Adina, my baby mama,
Hey, baby mama.
to Disney. So we did Disney by the day, in the afternoon. Then we went and did the screen test with Angela Bassett. And back then, a screen test was they had cameras set up, and you would do an actual scene from the movie and film it to see how you looked on screen with the star of the movie. And I remember we were set up to do the first scene, and I couldn't remember my first line. And Angela Bassett was there, and she was supposed to be holding my hand, and she kept on just massaging my hand as if to be like, it's okay, it's okay. And I was relaxing, and then it came, and then we were cool. But that was a trip.
I love that
trip.
story.
Yeah, yep. She was rooting for me.
Aw. Were you nervous or anxious?
I didn't think I was
the first
until that
time?
moment, that very first moment, and they yelled action, and then it hit me. Like I was across from Angela Bassett. I was close enough where I could see all of her makeup, and then all of a sudden, it was like it just went white. But then I remember feeling her hand, and then that kind of relaxed me. And then once I got started, then it was all cool.
So you had a girlfriend at this point. You are.
That I met in Rent, Adina Menzel. I met her in Rent.
You're shirtless a lot in this movie.
In
Stella.
How Stella.
Yes.
Yeah, I was the eye candy.
Yeah. How did the girlfriend feel about that?
I don't know. You know what was great about her? She never, at the time, I mean, this came out in therapy later, years later after we were married, but she never made me feel like we were competing or that she was jealous of what I was doing at work. It seemed as if she understood that this was a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I booked the gig, and I got in the car and I told her that I got it. She did a great job at just making me feel like I was doing, this was a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it,
Of course.
being the leading man and having all these beautiful women around me, but she never made me feel that way, ever, ever, ever. I think now, she was suppressing it, and but at the time I felt very comfortable. I felt very comfortable, yeah.
And then it's like the hits just keep coming, because then in 1999 there's The Best Man. I don't know if you remember that part of your career, little movie. Was it The Manifesting? Did you just have like a really good agent who was just
What
like,
it was?
you know?
It was like, they always have this where it's like I was the flavor of the month. So I was the new cat. Luckily
The
that
it
movie
guy.
did well. Yep. It was like all the black guys that were to be in the white movies or the leads of the black movies. So luckily, that was how it worked, and I rode that as far as I could, and then luckily I was able to continue working.
Yeah. I think a reason why this movie just still, like, to this day makes black people so excited is because you got to see, like, all of your favorite black actors finally on screen together. Because usually it's just like one here and there. I mean, there was Terrence Howard, Morris Chestnut, Nia Long. Did you know that they were Sanaa Lathan, of course? How could I forget? Did you know when you were going out for this
Regina
role
Hall.
that they were gonna everybody?
Yeah, everybody's still working.
Yeah. Did you know that they were all on board for this project when you went out for the role?
I was still new to the game, so I was just along for the ride, and I'm really enjoying myself. It wasn't until later on that I started to kind of pay attention to what other people were saying I should feel and how I should be worried about this next person coming up and staying on top, and white movies and black movies and crossing over, and so there was a moment there where it was kind of really golden, and then I kind of allowed the business to have an effect on me, and that's when you kind of lose, your bearings a bit. That's where I did. For me.
Yeah.
When I started to be overly concerned about what it was to be in this business and a black man and black audiences and white audiences and interracial relationships and what that was doing to black audiences, all of that stuff. Things were going much, much more smooth when I didn't pay attention to all that, and I was just having fun and taking the jobs that I was given.
Did you ever break out and break away from that and go back to, like, not feeling pressure and not worrying about those things?
That
and
wasn't
just
until
having
just
fun?
recently.
Really?
Yeah, where I forced myself. Something was missing. And then I made a choice to just do things differently, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And then I kind of found a new path that was pleasing and that seemed to be working.
I really want to get into that later. I'm very intrigued, but I also don't want to lose our current thread because I have to ask
Okay.
you about a particular moment in The Best Man. A little teeny tiny birdie told me that there was an improv moment between you and Nia Long.
And Nia Long, yeah.
Tell me about that moment and the scene.
It was a moment. I was like in the play, in the movie. I guess I'm out drunk, and I've been trying to get with the character, even though I have my own girlfriend. And I got beat up by Lance, I think, and I'm coming to maybe get some from Nia, and I'm late. I got a black eye, and she's upset because she thinks something's gonna go down. She's all looking cute, and I go to her and try to say I messed up, and there's this moment where she gets upset and is supposed to yell at me, but instead she yells at me and slaps me across the face.
The taste out of one's mouth, as they would say.
Yeah. In the moment, I was, because I have theater training and I come from the school of thought, mind, and respect. Anything you do in a scene, you can improvise, but you let your co-star know I might be doing this, or are you open to trying this? Like we said with Angela Bassett, there was that we'll be there for each other. That didn't happen.
What? So you were completely caught off guard.
100%, and offended, appalled. That's why I got on my theatrical high horse. How could she? Who does she think she? But now, in hindsight, it completely worked, and the director, Malcolm Lee, kept it. He kept that take. So if you watch the movie, you watch that slap, and she makes a connect, and I go, woo! And in the moment, I was like, do I beat her down? Do I say cut? And I don't know what happens afterwards, but that's in the movie. But it worked. It worked.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've worked with her. I love her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that any differently. But in the moment, I just couldn't believe that she would do such a thing.
Wow, shocked and appalled.
Yes, exactly those two.
So you got to work again with Sanaa Lathan
Yes.
in 2002 in Brown Sugar.
Brown Sugar.
Was it like a high school reunion? Like, oh hey girl, like what was it like to work with her?
Yeah,
again?
I considered her like my work wife. We know each other. We know how we move. We're very similar. We had a respect for the craft. You know, we considered ourselves like hippie black people. You know, where other black people thought we were a little off, but we were just black enough to still hang out with black people. But we weren't stereotypical in any way. We always just had each other's backs, you know. I was just watching When Harry Met Sally with my girl and realized that Brown Sugar was like the black version of that. Two friends, they started as friends. They decide early that they're not gonna be together because they're friends. And then they cross over, they get sexual, then it causes like a rift, and then they realize throughout the movie that they're meant for each other, and then there's a whole chasing scene at the end. It's just, yeah. So I was, that made me even more proud to have been in that movie. Because you grow up watching these kind of, you know, white movies, hoping that you can someday play these roles, thinking that's not gonna happen, because they're not gonna write movies like that for us. Then, you know, then they do, and you get to do it, and it's cool.